Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we're back again with another off-season alliance war, and this time I'm doing path 8 in section 1 and path 7 in section 2. I only have one fight on the path 8 in section 1, and that is this Vision Arcus. Now opponents are running a Siphon defensive tactic, and that actually is actually quite kind of common trend from what I have heard, because many people have messaged me already with the fact saying that nobody's getting a chance to practice against Stubborn realistically, because alliances simply are not interested in placing their defenses with this Stubborn defensive tactic active and giving their opponents like a chance to practice. So that's just gonna make season 19 even more fun, because I fully expect pretty much every single opponent to place either Flow or Siphon. In this case, we're going up against Siphon instead of Stubborn, just so their opponents don't get a chance to practice. And yeah, so that's definitely gonna make season 19 quite a bit more fun. But anyway, so that Vision Arcus fight was quite easy. Now we had that power drain node where whenever opponent gains a buff, we get a power drain debuff, but Dr. Doom was able to kind of counteract it with his own power gain quite successfully. It had to do a bit with a decent timing, but overall it wasn't too bad. Now this next fight is kind of like the middle mini boss over there. It's the Mixmaster Oscillate. It used to be the Tunnel Vision Oscillate Aggression Fury. Now it's Aggression Prowess Mixmaster Oscillate, still there. But yeah, so I just brought in Quake. Obviously Quake has class disadvantage, and I'm not running suicides and or any boosts, so this fight is going to take a bit longer than most Quake fights do, so I sped it up ×2. But yeah, Quake works perfectly fine here. That is up until we encounter Stubborn defensive tactic, of course. But if we're not up against Stubborn, then I can't really test what would work, what wouldn't work. For instance, just because we have to go up against Siphon now, I obviously needed to make sure that I can bring champions that can clear Siphon lanes and not take super huge block damage. And you know, it is what it is. Just kind of like how to play the defense that we have been dealt in. Anyway, so the fight, we can see that it's nearly over. Half an hour remains on the clock. This is actually going to be a good test to see if I would have timed out in like a regular timer. So we have 20 seconds left before the 3-minute mark would be up, and I will be able to finish out the fight just before the 3-minute mark is up. So I wouldn't have timed out with the regular timers. Now we have the 5-minute ones. Obviously we have much more time, which actually works quite well for Quake, as we're going to see more of these rank 3 defenders on defense, and Quake will not have to worry too much about timing out. Now I'm going to be going up against this Dormammu, and this fight is savage, man. So this is a kinetic transference, powerful from afar node, and it used to have Spite on as well, so I'm really happy it doesn't have Spite. But in this case I'm going up against Dormammu, and obviously he has Siphon defensive tactics, so I'm going to take a whole lot more block damage. Obviously, if I also happen to trigger buffs, I'm going to get degen, and we can see that this fight effectively, more or less, is kind of like a race against the time, because I'm gaining these power gain buffs by nullifying his powerful from afar buffs, which is actually a really good introduction for Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is going to be fantastic for these powerful from afar nodes, because the power gain that the opponents gain is an actual buff that Doom can nullify. And when he does, obviously he gains power gain of his own, so Doom is going to be perfect for these nodes. But since they are buffs that actually expire, I keep on triggering Doom's degeneration on myself. And you can see that here I haven't taken any hits at all in this fight, and I'm at 17% health when it finishes. So it was literally kind of a race of the health bars, whose health bar is going to go down. And yeah, luckily I managed to kind of like finish out the fight quickly enough. Now next fight is going to be against Darkhawk, and I think it has the powerful, we're going to check the nodes now. He has Aspect of Evolution, Kinetic Transference, so nothing too crazy. I'm just going to bring in Quake for this one. Super easy fight. And yeah, I was just double thinking what should I bring in, but obviously Quake is going to be the best solution here. So I'm going to go in with Quake. This fight is going to be much shorter, obviously, than the Korg's one, because I do not have class disadvantage. Darkhawk is not as tanky as that Korg was, and obviously he doesn't have the nodes that give him extra health as much. So you can see that the first set of aftershocks already take down almost a quarter of his health. So yeah, the fight should be over within like a minute or just under that. So perfectly happy with it. Next we're going to be going up against that Punisher 2099, and that guy is going to have a powerful from afar node, and we're going to see how Quake can deal with that. But don't worry guys, it's not going to be just Quake for the remainder of the war. We will also have some boss action, and the boss is Mojo with Siphon Active. So yeah, we still have that to look forward to. I'm going to deal with this Darkhawk, then Punisher, then I have Magic Mini Boss, which is also going to be quite quick and easy. And then it's going to be the Mojo boss fight. So if you do not like watching Quake or do not enjoy my commentary, feel free to just skip ahead to the boss fight. But yeah, this fight meanwhile is pretty much over at this point. Took like a minute and 10 seconds, which is quite good with Quake and no boosts and stuff like that. So yeah, now next fight is going to be this Punisher. Obviously he's a villain, so if I eat a lot of hits in a block by this Punisher, it's going to be super crazy. Powerful from afar is going to give him power gain buff whenever he is in distance from me. And now here is how I made a mistake. I actually dashed back when I shouldn't have. I should have probably just parried initially or did something, because you can see that power gain buff, I can make sure it doesn't switch on if I'm holding my concussion when he would dash away from me. So Quake can deal with powerful from afar. It's just I played the very first part of the fight very badly where I was dashing away from him, and obviously if I'm in the middle of my dashback, I cannot charge heavy attack, place concussion, and disable the node. But once I am at the corner over here, then everything is kind of like pretty perfect, because I just need to make sure so I don't make too many mistakes, because obviously he's almost at the bar of power, but we can see that we can counteract that powerful from afar node as he is dashing back. If my heavy is getting charged, he typically doesn't get that power gain buff. Now at this point he does go past the bar of power. I decide to just ignore it and carry on as normal. I'm going to eat that level 1. It does do quite a bit of damage, but I thought I'll just eat the damage from the level 1 and I should be able to finish out the fight before he actually gets to another level 1. And that is what's happening here. Basically we have last bits. Obviously I ate that level 1, which kind of sucked, but still the fight is going to be in the bag in just a second. Also we haven't used any items thus far, so I'm quite happy with that. And yeah, any off-season war, any war in general where you don't have to use potions and items is a good war in my book. Right, so now I checked out that there's only this magic mini boss left, and then Mojo would be open. Kind of wanted to have a crack at that Mojo, so I figured I might as well go and try and deal with that magic, and then we're gonna have a chance to tackle the Mojo boss. And yeah, so this is the first time I'm taking this mini boss. I think I had to read the nodes up on her. I think she's like stun immune and hazard shift, incinerate, poison, so it would actually be quite tricky mini boss, especially if it had stubborn defensive tactic on. But in this case I'm just gonna bring in Quake so I can ignore the hazard thingy, because I'm not going to be hitting magic, so I'm not going to get any incinerates or poisons. Obviously Quake perfectly bypasses magic's own abilities, and I don't have to worry about limbo. Stun immunity I'm not too fussed about, and yeah, it turns out this magic has suicides active, so in addition to that she's killing herself basically, so it's just going to speed up the process here, and we can see that she is absolutely melting away. This will not be a long fight at all whatsoever. You can see that 40 seconds in the fight, a mini boss at 20% health. Set of aftershocks are about to expire once again. You can see that drops her at like 3%, and plus that poison's consistently ticking away, and the fight's over in under a minute. So yeah, perfect. So far so good. And now the very final fight, it's going to be Mojo. Now I'm not going to be boosting or anything like that. And actually, to be fair, I think on a Siphon node, Nick Fury can probably solo this fight quite easily, especially if I had boosted up, put on some skill power boosts, indestructible 3 boost or something of the sort. because I will be able to deal a whole lot of damage very quickly to this guy, and I will not kind of like stress too much about it. Obviously, I didn't fully expect like the solo Mojo, because Nick Fury is like hardly the perfect counter, but just wanted to put in some solid amount of damage. The initial part of the fight obviously is not gonna be as impressive, as Nick Fury obviously has to get his life model decoy destroyed before he can do the major damage. Here I eat level 1. Now, looking back at it, I have made definitely one big mistake. I should have tried to push him far back, and I should have tried to hit his block quite a bit more in order to maintain kind of like map positioning, because he's effectively just cornering me up, and that is going to be more or less the reason why I'm going to mess up this fight as much as I will and just let him kind of corner me, because that level 1 has quite big push forward, and as you are baiting it and then you need to deal with level 1, and you end up getting cornered very quickly against this Mojo. And obviously if he has Siphon active, if you end up taking those level 1 hits in block, then you end up eating a lot of damage. But yeah, so here at this point I kind of didn't know what to do. I was hoping he will drop that level 2 early so I can block it and then kind of like regain some position. He didn't, so I just went for Hakuna Matata. He's at level 3. I'm pushing forward and dropped my level 2. He remains at 35% health. Now he's going to drop his level 3, and that will be it for this war. Now we will win this war quite confidently. I don't think opponent is trying all that hard, and the war is still ongoing. But either way, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of new map. Let me know what you think of the fact that it's likely that you will hardly encounter stubborn defensive tactics before the war season 19. And yeah, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya.